Welcome to Wingin' It with Wingo with me as your host, Derek Wingo, where we're bringing Gator Nation closer to their athletes through weekly deep dives and into player stories with exclusive behind-the-scenes access. Welcome to Wingin' It with Wingo with your host, Derek Wingo, brought to you by Florida Victorious, where Florida Victorious is able to give us opportunities like this to allow behind-the-scenes access through player exclusives and also has memberships from $15 to $250 a month that allows us to just do things like this, right? Have different opportunities and allows us to use NIL to not only support us, but even our families back at home. All right, we'll get back into it for our fun fact of the day. Florida-Georgia Week, the largest cocktail party of the year, right? It started being called that in the 1950s when an editor saw a drunk fan offer a police officer a drink. That's kind of funny. I don't know if the police officer actually took the drink, but apparently that's what it comes from. And the rivalry has only been played 7 times on campus. So that means whether or not it was played in Athens or played in Gainesville, since they've been playing around, I think it was 1915, they've only played 7 times so it's always been at the neutral site, which is actually pretty cool. All right, when we come back later on, we're going to have Jack Pyburn on the show. But for now, we just came off the bye week, right? Getting some guys healthy, getting back into the groove, and then just focusing on, right, getting that mental and that physical state right. Everyone's been talking about the long stretch of the SEC schedule. Let's talk about who we kind of have left, right? We have the Georgia game this week. Looking at after that, we have Texas at 12 p.m. Looking forward to kind of traveling to their stadium. I know they have another Wingo on their team, so that'll be pretty cool. LSU, a night game in the Swamp. I'm hoping we break out the black jerseys again. I don't know. That hasn't been released or anything. I don't know if that's kind of talk around the equipment staff, but I know we got to do that last year. Coach Napier was able to do an amazing thing where they auctioned off the black jerseys because it's close to Veterans Day to kind of support them and do all that, and it was kind of a tribute. I know he did it back at his previous school. So that was a cool thing they were able to do last year. I'm hoping we break them out for the night game versus LSU. And then Ole Miss, senior day, right? We have a ton of seniors this year. This will be my senior day, so I'm excited to be able to experience that moment, have my last game in the Swamp and my family be there. And then the team out west and over in Tallahassee for the last game of the season. 4 SEC opponents are on that. All battle tested, in my opinion, which gives us a shot at the college football playoffs. We'll see how it goes. I'm super excited for that one. You know, Coach Napier always talks about taking one game at a time, right? Understanding the team's identity, kind of. And I think at this point, we're just growing and going uphill and climbing that mountain, right? Each week, we've continuously gotten better, improved on offense and defense and special teams, all 3 phases of football. And I'm just super excited for this next upcoming stretch, and then just taking it one game at a time. All right. As you can see, I got my Gators hockey jersey on. Shout out to those guys. You know, they were able to make me this custom jersey with my name on the back. And then most people don't even know we have a hockey team. It's technically a hockey club team, but they're able to play all the different SEC teams. Last year, they actually won the SEC championship and the national championship. And they just came off a huge week, having a sweep over the weekend, playing Alabama and Auburn. So super cool for those guys. I'm excited to be able to see maybe some of their games, and hopefully they can go back to back. All right, got to bring it up. Gators basketball starts on Monday. Pretty cool. They're already preseason ranked 21, and then they've had some new guys added to the team. Got to bring them up. This freshman, Oliver, 7'9". I mean, I'm 6'2", and my head goes about like up here to him, and that's, you can't miss him when you're in the facility just walking around. He's huge. He's the tallest guy, I think, in college basketball ever. I've never seen anyone that tall, so it's pretty cool. Hey, he's close to the rim. That's all that kind of matters. We'll get right to it. The UGA Rivalry, largest cocktail party in the world, right? Jacksonville, 3:30 game. We've been watching hype videos all week, understanding just the history of what goes on kind of in that rivalry all the way back since 1915. And then, some say there's a little bit of a debate when the University of Florida actually had a football team when they played in, I think it was 1906, but it goes back and forth. And with this super cool alumni that we have, Mike Peterson, Brandon Spikes, they're able to kind of first-handedly give us those stories and really show the emotion on what this rivalry means. So that's pretty cool. I know when we have Jack Pyburn, who's actually someone who's from Jacksonville, I know he's been a part of that rivalry his whole life, growing up, always going to those games. So it'll be super cool to be able to learn a little bit more about that rivalry, and then just builds up the hype and the contentiousness going into that game, both being in the SEC East and just competing for that, next SEC East, right? So it'll be super fun. And then same preparation, same competitiveness each week. I know Coach Napier's talked about it in the press conferences. We've added this new type of edge with the way we practice and the way we compete, going back and forth with each other. So, I mean, that's what I think, honestly, in my opinion, what's, upped our level of play, what's upped our excitement of just, going in each day and doing the same thing over and over. So I think that's going to be, how we improve each and every week when it comes to these stretch. And people always ask us, kind of, oh, you're playing this team, you're playing that team. And in our heads right now, we're focused on, the next team, the next day at practice. And that's what you have to do when you want to be a successful team in the SEC. And I think we've been doing that at a high level and doing that really well. So I'm super excited. This could be the deciding factor for the SEC East. But when we come back, Jack Pyburn on the show to talk about his journey and what it meant for him to grow up in Jacksonville and how it's been so far here at the University of Florida. Welcome back to Wingin It with Wingo for episode 8 with my special guest. Jack, I'll let you go ahead and introduce yourself.
What's up, y'all? Jack Pyburn. I'm from Jacksonville, Florida. I wear number 44, and I play outside linebacker.
Attaboy, the beast himself. All right, Jack, we'll kind of hop right into it. Talk about real quick about your recruitment, kind of what chose you deciding to come here to the University of Florida. I know I got to be your host, show you around a little bit, be with your family. What was that like for you making that decision?
I can tell you it was a good time being with him as a host. He definitely made it fun being here, and he showed me kind of the ropes a little bit, and, that was cool in that regard. But as far as my recruitment in general, I kind of had to bet on myself a lot. My recruitment was kind of a weird one due to COVID. We couldn't go on visits early in recruitment, so my recruitment didn't really pick up until, the spring of my senior year. Mm-hmm. I started receiving a lot more Power 5 offers, and that's when, recruitment kind of picked up. Committed to Minnesota originally, was committed there all through the summer and through my senior season. Towards the end of senior season, I picked up even more traction, and then some SEC teams, ACC, Big Ten teams came flying back in, and came down to the final few weeks. I had Miami, Auburn, and then Florida came into the mix, and it was kind of one of those things where Florida was my dream school. I didn't know too much about the staff yet. They'd just been hired, a lot of unknowns, but I kind of took a bet, and just after coming here, I just realized that it was everything that I wanted, and so I decided to go ahead and pull the trigger on, and I think it's been the best decision that I've ever made. Yeah,
definitely getting to stay home, close to Florida, being from Jacksonville. And then, I don't know if I could have went to Minnesota, being in the cold. So definitely being in the warm weather.
I can tell you right now, a big reason where I was like, I don't know, is because I went up there for a October game with my buddy, and it was supposed to be 60 degrees, 65 degrees, and sunny out. And it felt cool. It wasn't too bad. And then we got in the shade, and I was freezing.
Yeah.
I was bone chilled, and I was like, yeah, I can't do this.
Being from Florida, anything below 70, I'm jacket hoodied up. I'm freezing.
I couldn't do it.
All right, so being from Jacksonville, obviously your family, gets to be a lot of part of, travel to every games, and, that definitely means a lot to you. And then, it's Florida-Georgia week, right? You grew up in that. What was that like kind of for you growing up around that kind of rivalry, and just what your kind of experience has been like towards it?
Man, this is probably my favorite week of the year. It always has been. I've been to every single Florida-Georgia game since I can remember. Literally, since I can remember. There was times in, I remember, 2012 dancing a Gangnam Style at a tailgate, showing people how to do the dance as a little kid and stuff, and going to those games. And it was a situation where Florida would lose and I'd have a bad year, or I'd have a bad week. It was real. And, being able to play in it now the past 2 years and having a huge role in it that's even bigger this year, where I really feel like I can make an impact and create opportunities for myself, I'm just ecstatic. And knowing that there's literally hundreds of people in that stadium that not only know me but are there to watch me, especially being from my hometown, it's kind of surreal.
Little hometown hero, and that's definitely pretty cool. It's like a dream come true.
Yeah, 100%.
So when you were younger, you talked about, I know we got to talk about it on your visit as well. You had your trainer, who was almost like your best friend, who kind of went through that process with you, just training you every day. You told me a while back you used to get up at 4 a.m. to train and do it. What was kind of all that about?
Yeah, dude. So I started with him my middle of my freshman year, and dude, I was skinny, scrawny kid. I wasn't that skinny and scrawny, but dude, I was 5'9", 145, and compared to me now, that is small. That's really small. And from that moment, he looked at me and he saw greatness in me, something I didn't see in myself. So he was one of those first people who really sowed the belief of the kind of player that I am now and who I can become. And so I think I really gravitated towards him because of that. And he really inspired me in that regard. But yeah, I trained with him for a year and a half, and then starting like late in my sophomore year to like junior year summer, I started getting up every morning at 3:50, 4 in the morning, because he made me his training partner. We would train 6 days a week at 5 in the morning, getting up at 4 in the morning.
Then you just had that big jump from 190 pounds to 240 pounds.
Yeah. Like I was a late bloomer or whatever. It's all cool. Happens to people, happened to me. And I just kind of started growing, and then all of a sudden my body just like exploded. Like everybody was like, what in the world happened to you?
Time for a drug test.
Where'd you come from? Now there's people saying I got like growth plate surgeries and all this crazy stuff. I'm like, I don't think that exists. So I don't really know where they got that from. But it was awesome. But I can't thank him enough for everything that he's done for me. He's still a huge influential part of my life. I talk to him every single day, and he's always on me about reminding me of where I started and where I can be. I even have a video of me working out during COVID in my garage, and he's saying, "Here we are, we're working for a scholarship, we're working to go to the NFL." Like, it seems stupid at the time, but now you look back on a cool video like that, and you're like, "Wow, this is awesome."
Led to it. You've always kind of had that mentality, right? When you were younger, when you were training to get a scholarship to come to the University of Florida. And then you had some setbacks, right? Your injury you had last year, coming back from that. What was your mindset kind of originally? When this first happened, that you were finally coming into the spotlight. You were super excited for your opportunity, and then this happens. What's going through your mind? Kind of what are you focusing on?
Yeah, I can tell you it was tough, but like you said, mindset is how you get around things like that. Mm-hmm. So I remember, it was Arkansas was my first game. They gave me a start, and I'd also been starting at Sam, linebacker, and late in the third quarter, go down with a knee injury. I knew instantly because I couldn't get up. I just couldn't move. I was like, "There's no way this just happened." I stood up on it and walked off the field, super mad. Literally every ligament in my knee was blown out. I had the terrible triad or whatever they call it. Get in the training room, and I'm saying, "All right, it's my knee. Put me in a brace. Shoot me up. I'm good to go. I'll go back out there." And the trainers are like, "They're like, no, you don't have any ligaments. There's nothing in your knee. If you go out there, you will fall on your face." So I was all mad, and then. It was a tough 2 days, especially afterwards, just kind of letting it soak in. But then after that, I just kind of had a mentality switch that, all right, there's 2 ways that I can approach this. I can either approach it positively or negatively. And if I approach it negatively at this point, it's going to help nothing. Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's a decision you have to make about a lot of hard things that happen to you in life, is you do have a decision ultimately. No matter how bad it is, there's certain things that nobody should go through, but, you got 2 mentalities. Mm-hmm. Either get through it, or let it become you and absorb you, and you just can't let that happen. So, I just approached it with that mindset and said, I'm going to do this better than anyone's done it. I'm going to try to come back faster than anybody's done it, better and stronger.
Yeah, so I got to be a first-hand witness of that. Seeing you come in every single day, busting your butt in the training room. You always talked about your nutrition. You love to cook at home, make all the kind of meal preps, and then just that deciding factor of just, the positive mentality and negative mentality. If you're going to be a negative, it's not only just going to hurt yourself, but the people around you. And you were always that guy that were coming in with that positive energy, pushing each other and just wanting to work harder than even the guys that were fully healthy. And that showed off, and that showed out for you being able to come back so fast from a big-time injury and being able to play freely, right? Be able to play aggressively. So that's definitely one thing I've noticed about you. You talked about just your rehab and your nutrition, staying on top of it. I know you love to cook. So you talk about you do your meal plans and kind of all stuff like that. Do you still continuously do that throughout the season?
I do, yeah. And I'm but I'm working on getting a deal hopefully with a meal prep company, which would be really easy and would make my life a lot easier. So that would be pretty awesome. But yeah, no, I regularly meal prep and cook on my Traeger. It's pretty awesome. And I love doing it because, I feel like it fuels my body to the best extent and lets me play at my best ability. Yeah,
absolutely. So I got to see something pretty cool last week. I was watching the Pat McAfee show, and he was talking about how he was giving away his Ram 1500 truck, right, to a guy who makes the biggest hit or, just absolutely demolishes someone. And you were the first person that I thought of. I was like, oh man, too bad we have a bye week. I was going to tag him in and hope he got to see you. We got a free Ram 1500. But that's also something I just see on my Twitter nonstop is how Jack Pyburn spills the counter, right? Spills the slice block coming across. What is it going through your mind? You're lined up all ready to go. You're just head full of steam ready to run someone over.
Yeah, no, I definitely have problems for sure. I mean, that's number one, I definitely have some problems because when I see that, I'm not even thinking, when I see certain formations, ID the formation, know what they're in, know their tendencies, and I see a position where I'm like, all right, I'm 95% sure this is the play they're going to run. I'm not worried about the running back. I'm not worried about anything else. I'm worried about destroying the play. I know the guard's pulling, so I'm going to destroy him before he even knows what's coming.
And it
works out for everybody because this is playing team defense. But no, I love contact and I love running through somebody's face, but I also want to make the play too. So, they talk about spilling, but I just call it destroying. I just like destroying plays instead of spilling or boxing. Just go destroy it.
That's probably what you need to, play at the next level and be an outside linebacker, especially in the SEC with all the big-time teams we play.
100%.
So that's pretty good. And then just being in the weight room, right? We get to work out together a bunch, just being an animal in there, right? In the bench press and the cleans. I actually get to work out with this guy every day. We got the smell and salts going, the rock and roll music, all kinds of stuff. So it's fun. The way you just kind of attack that and get on it on a day-to-day basis is obviously paying off, right? It's obviously showing up in the game time situations, the big fourth down stops our defense has been able to have, and just overall as a defense.
I think the funniest part about that too is we have the same mentality in the weight room, but there will be days when we look at each other and we're like, "You good?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good." He's like, "Yeah, I'm good." I'm like, all right, well, this is going to be a day where, we're going to push it, but, we need to be smarter. And that's something that I think as getting older now and being a more vet player, before it was every single day was I have to go as hard as possible. And then my body started to fall apart and I was like, okay, well, there's times to go as hard as possible and times not to. And I think that's part of growth. And that's why I like working with him so much, because some days we'll look at each other and it's oh, it's on. And some days it's all right, let's get good work, but let's be smart. And yeah, it's awesome.
That's definitely part of getting older and understanding your body and figuring that out. Talk about some of the NIL stuff for you, right? You have this cool deal with Hawkstone, right? Most people don't know about that. A couple of guys were able to kind of get a good deal on going to golf out there, pretty nice private course. And then your Traeger grills that you're able to have. You said you love to meal prep, and just being able to obviously have a super nice grill from Traeger, being able to do all that. What's that like, just kind of having your deal with Hawkstone and then Traeger's just what NIL is as a whole?
Yeah, I think those two embody the importance and the great aspects that NIL can bring towards someone is being able to pursue the passions that you love. Mm-hmm. For me, it's meal prepping. I don't want to go out there and buy $1,000 grill. So when Traeger hits me up and says they'll give me $1,000 grill and send me pellets and sauces all the time, it's wow, okay, this makes me even more excited to cook because the things that I love, my passions, are getting rewarded from me playing football and having those opportunities. The same thing with Hawkstone. I can't thank them enough. We go out there, we play all the time. Those people they're the best. And, with the deal that they made for us to let us come out there and play golf at a, super discounted rate and, get out there on a world-class course and have a private experience at the same time to where, we can kind of go play whenever and hang out with each other. It's awesome.
Yeah.
it's
especially outside of football, kind of gets you take your mind off some things. And you talk about just using football as your platform to do other things that you love. At the same time, you get to, better yourself. You're bettering yourself through your meal plans. You're bettering yourself mentally, be able to play golf and enjoy time with your friends at the same time. And then you're coming back and playing football at a high level. So that's just absolutely amazing. A cool thing about you that you've got to tell me a little about is your dad's racing. Your dad does the speedboats racing. What's that kind of about? I know you're a big supporter on that. Get to go to some of his races. What's that like?
It's awesome, man. He's been supporting me my whole life, with football, sports, whatever it was. And for me now to be able, at the same time I'm competing at the highest level, he's competing at the highest level in, his profession now, and being able to support him, it's just it's a really cool feeling because it feels like I get to flip the script and I'm the one that can support him instead of him just supporting me all the time. He does offshore boat racing. He races in the Super Cat class and maybe even another class next year, so he'll be racing in 2 different classes, but they go run offshore. There's a series of 8 or 9 races across the year, and then they have the World Championships, which is actually cool. Next week in Key West. So that's a week-long thing where they have 3 different races over the span of Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. So I'm hoping, cool. his plan is to fly out. So he's going to be racing for 2 days, and then he's going to fly out super early Saturday morning and come to the Texas game, and then fly right back to Key West to go racing his races. So,
dedication in it.
Him being able to come to all my games and always making it work, even around his schedule now, is it's fantastic. And getting to go to his races and support him and watch him do something and race boats at 130, 40 miles an hour and, 2-3 foot 5-foot waves. It's
Gosh.
insanity. And, it's so much respect to what he does, and I just love it.
Yeah. I've gotten to see some of the videos you've shown me of just them, like, zooming down the coast and doing all that stuff. And, that's just absolutely amazing. I got to see some stuff on ESPN and some of the cool stuff they do and coverage on it. And, for him to have that opportunity and you to have the opportunity to support him through that is freaking amazing.
It's special, man.
All right, we'll hop right into it. The rapid fire, 9 questions in 90 seconds, brought to you by Florida Victorious. Jack Pyburn, let's get it. All right, your favorite DN or outside linebacker in the NFL?
Nick Bosa.
Nick Bosa. St. Thomas guy, by the way. St. Thomas guy. Dream NFL team you're drafted by?
Jags.
I knew it. You got to be stay at home with the guys.
Come on.
At home meal to cook on your Traeger.
Steak.
Got to be steak.
Steak.
Medium rare, medium.
Yeah, medium rare.
Okay.
I like to make it rare, but I like to put it back in the cast iron pan and sear it.
God knows how to cook. All right, one golf club to hit for an entire hole.
I'm gonna be honest. Give me the 8-iron. It's reliable. I can work it around. I feel like I get some workability around the green. Still able to pitch it. I mean, if I angle the face down and really tee it up, I can still get a good tee shot off. 8-iron.
All right, favorite fish to catch when you go out fishing? I know you love to fish.
Amberjack.
Amberjack?
The fight is just awesome. They always fight.
Yeah, they're good. Definitely a good fight. Jack's karaoke song he's singing. Knows all the words.
Tequila.
Tequila, that's a good one. Get a little, it's all quiet the whole time.
It's jiggy, it's easy.
Having dinner with anyone in the world, get to sit down with, who would it be?
Probably Elon Musk. He's just an interesting individual. I don't know what's going to come out of his mouth, and he's probably going to definitely. I'm going to learn something in it.
Yeah, big money guy. Definitely learned some stuff from him. 2 things, Jack, that's on Jack Pyburn's bucket list. 2 things that you wish you could do.
I want to go to Hawaii.
Hawaii.
And I want to race in a boat race like my dad. That'd be pretty cool.
Maybe you guys can go head to head with each other.
Hopefully, like father-son duo. That'd be pretty sick.
All right, after practice, hot tub or cold tub? What you go to?
I go cold tub.
Cold tub?
I normally dip in the hot tub for about a minute or 2 just to warm up the body to make it easier to get in the cold tub. But cold tub's the method.
You going neck down all the way?
Yeah, we go deep. I mean, sometimes not neck down. I do sometimes though if I'm feeling crazy enough.
Got to take care of the body. All right, Jack, it's time for you to put you to the test. I've done it with some of the other guys. We've had some okay artists and some all right artists, but at least we know you can spill the counter.
Yeah.
So we'll be all right. At the end of the day.
I wasn't the artistic one in the family. That was my sister.
All right, you just got drafted by the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jags logo. You've grown up around them your whole life. 30 seconds on the clock. Got to draw the logo. You're in the green room with your whole family back there. 30 seconds on the clock. Got to draw the logo. Let's get it. No pressure. Even though you're from Jacksonville. Always around the stadium. It couldn't be too hard. But yeah, you're not an artist, so it's all right. Give you props. I always love this part, seeing the guys draw. Oh, gosh.
Dude, I'm trying.
I'll give you 10 more seconds. I have to send this one to Ventrell. Ventrell's not going to be too happy.
Dude. I don't...
All right, we're going with that. All right, Jack. Jacksonville Jaguars.
Dude, I come on the spot. I'm going to look at the logo in a minute.
It's all right. It's not.
I think I did it the right way at least. I'm pretty sure it's that way.
It's not as bad as
sure.
Shamar's gator that he got to draw with the legs and the eyes.
He drew a gator and it was terrible?
It was not very good.
That's bad.
All right, well, thanks again, Jack, for having you. It's a pleasure to have you on, talk about your experience here at the University of Florida. Obviously, this isn't possible without Florida Victorious and everything they allow us to do, have opportunities like this, get to know players, behind-the-scenes access, and everything they do for us. That's it for episode 8. Wingo out.